In the summer of 1912, the small town of Villisca was a peaceful and quiet community. With a population of only a few thousand people, it was the kind of place where everyone knew their neighbors. One of the most respected families in town was the Moore family. The father, Josiah B. Moore, was a successful businessman and a well-known member of the community. On the evening of June 9, the Moore family attended a church event, just like many other families in town. It seemed like an ordinary Sunday night. Later that evening, the family returned home to their house on a quiet street. But during the night, something terrifying would happen inside that home. A crime that would later become known as the Villisca Axe Murders. That night in Villisca, the Moore family returned home after the church event. The family included Josiah B. Moore, his wife Sarah Montgomery Moore, and their 4 children. 2 young guests, Lena Stillinger and Dinah Stillinger, were also staying the night after the church gathering. The house was now filled with 8 people, all settling in for sleep after a long day. Outside, the quiet streets of the town were calm and dark. Nothing seemed unusual, and the house soon fell completely silent. But while everyone inside slept, someone else may have already been inside the house, waiting in the darkness. During the early hours of June 10, 1912, something terrifying happened inside the house in Villisca. While the 8 people inside slept, an unknown attacker moved silently through the home. The weapon used in the attack was believed to be an axe that belonged to the house itself. One by one, the victims were attacked while they were still in their beds. The killer moved from room to room in complete darkness. What makes the case even more disturbing is that no one in the neighborhood reported hearing screams or signs of a struggle during the night. By morning, the house that belonged to Josiah B. Moore had become the scene of one of the most shocking crimes in American history. A crime now known as the Villisca Axe Murders. The next morning, something unusual caught the attention of a neighbor in Villisca. The Josiah B. Moore house was strangely quiet. The curtains were still closed, and no one had come outside that morning. Concerned, the neighbor approached the house and knocked on the door. When no one answered, she decided to contact Josiah's brother. Soon after, someone entered the home to check what had happened. Inside, they discovered a horrifying scene. All 8 people who had spent the night in the house were dead. The quiet town was suddenly facing one of the most shocking crimes in its history, the Villisca Axe Murders. As news of the tragedy spread across Villisca, investigators rushed to the home of Josiah B. Moore. What they found raised even more disturbing questions. The weapon believed to have been used in the attack was an axe from inside the house itself. But there were no clear signs of forced entry. This suggested that the killer might have entered the home quietly, or had already been inside before the family returned that night. Even stranger, investigators discovered that mirrors in the house had been covered with cloth, and windows were also covered. Some believed the killer stayed inside the house for hours after the murders. The crime quickly became one of the most chilling mysteries in American history, known as the Villisca Axe Murders. As investigators continued examining the house in Villisca, they discovered several strange clues. Inside the kitchen, there was a plate of uneaten food left on the table. Some investigators believed the killer may have stayed inside the house for some time after the attacks. Curtains had been pulled shut, and several objects inside the house appeared to have been deliberately moved. Another disturbing detail was that the axe had been carefully cleaned and left inside the home. Despite searching for fingerprints and evidence, authorities were unable to find a clear suspect. The more they investigated the Villisca Axe Murders, the more confusing the case became. It seemed that whoever committed the crime had disappeared without leaving a clear trace. As the investigation continued in Villisca, authorities questioned many possible suspects. Detectives followed dozens of leads and rumors, hoping to uncover the truth behind the Villisca Axe Murders. At one point, a traveling minister named George Kelly was arrested and even confessed to the crime. But investigators later believed his confession was unreliable and possibly forced during questioning. Other suspects were also investigated over the years, including businessmen and travelers who had passed through the town. Yet none of the accusations could be proven. Despite years of investigation, the identity of the killer remained a mystery. The case slowly turned into one of the most famous unsolved crimes in American history. More than a century later, the house in Villisca still stands. The building is now known as the Villisca Axe Murder House, and it has become one of the most famous haunted locations in the United States. Many visitors and paranormal investigators claim they have experienced strange sounds, footsteps, and unexplained movements inside the house. Some even say they feel an unsettling presence while walking through the dark rooms where the crime took place. Whether these experiences are paranormal or simply the result of the house's tragic history is still debated. But one thing remains certain. The mystery of the Villisca Axe Murders has never been fully solved. And the story continues to haunt people to this day. The Villisca Axe Murders remain one of the most disturbing unsolved crimes in American history. In the quiet town of Villisca, 8 people were killed during a single night in 1912. Despite multiple investigations and several suspects over the years, authorities were never able to prove who committed the crime. The house where the murders took place, now known as the Villisca Axe Murder House, still attracts visitors from around the world. Some come to learn about the history. Others come hoping to experience something paranormal. But even after more than a century, one chilling question still remains. Who is responsible for the Villisca murders? And why did they do it?